here is the video review for Takara Jetpack Bumblebee. If it ever does get released in the United States, it'll be known as Hydrodive Bumblebee. So I guess it really depends on whether you think this blue vehicle shell here is a sub or a plane. And it kind of works for both. I think it has more of a jetpack vibe, but who knows? As you can see, it's just kind of a outer shell for the inner Bumblebee figure. And there's some guns on the front. And we'll get to some complaints about those here in a few minutes. He does have little thrusters, like his boosters on the bottom. And all in all, kind of neat. It's sold at a Voyager price point, despite the fact that the Bumblebee is actually even smaller than the previous deluxe Bumblebee. So, and it's kind of small for a Voyager, but what are you going to do? Now, Bumblebee can pop out of here. You just want to, this whole thing just kind of extends forward. And you can kind of rotate this piece that he's clipped into. The car is actually clipped into the jetpack by the same mechanism that's going to allow it to be a jetpack in robot mode. But we'll get into that in a minute. And here's the Bumblebee car. And I forgot to bring an extra Bumblebee to show him off size-wise, but here he is with Sentinel Prime, just to get an idea of how big his car mode is. And transformation is actually fairly simple. There is still a little bit of cheating on his chest windshield. As you can see when you pull this down, it's just the back window there. But you basically bring this down, and what's kind of cool is you can go ahead and flip these down if you want, but if you split the legs, then as you rotate them around, there is a piece that will automatically flip that windshield piece down to the back of his leg, which is kind of cool. So flip that down, flip it around, turn it around. His arms you just pull out like this and extend there at the elbow. And then you want to open up his chest and flip up his head. And there's Bumblebee. Now, it's a little disappointing. His shoulders can move, but they don't pull out from his body anymore. They're on a hinge right here. And you can move them like this, but they don't pull out. It's a neat little Bumblebee mold. Or I guess I should say it's a neat little mold. I like the car mode, and I like the transformation, and the figure itself isn't too bad. It doesn't necessarily scream Bumblebee to me. I still think the original deluxe is a little bit more screen accurate. I know they cheat on the stripe and all that stuff, but it just looks more like the Bumblebee from the cartoon than the new one. And you can see about the size difference here between the two of them. Just a quick little turnaround. His hands aren't posable. His hands are just these little nubs. The head's a little less accurate to the cartoon. Although again, and part of it too is just this non-painted plastic with the gold paint. I think I'd love to see the Hasbro version of this eventually come out, just to see it all in the same yellow plastic. I think it would look a lot better in one, with a uniform yellow as opposed to this kind of orangish gold yellow versus the really shiny gold paint. So yeah, the jetpack, you can actually pull these thrusters off like that, and they can attach. You can attach them kind of backwards to Bumblebee's arms as stingers if you want, just like that. And they do also plug into his backpack. You can put both of them back there and have like the jet thrusters. They stay under here like that, which is kind of cool. And then this jetpack you can plug right into his back here, as I was saying earlier. You plug this into his back. And there you go. And then the cockpit can actually come up and over, kind of sit down on Bumblebee's shoulders. And then these guns, which do have handles on them, as you can see, flip forward, and you can put his hands up like he's grabbing them, like he's got a little jetpack here. And the shame about the guns is there's some really neat guns. It would be awesome if he could pop these off and hold them, but they're actually driven through with like a big long solid pin all the way through. You can't even unscrew them. They're pinned on. You're not going to be able to get them off of here outside of just having Bumblebee hold on to them. There's a way that you can fiddle with this and make it fit a little better. But there's Bumblebee with a jetpack with guns on it. Have control, and also it looks like these wings can rotate, and technically they can. They're just pegged on, and if it weren't for this peg right here, they'd be able to just like this, just rotate forward. So you could have those wings facing forward like that. And it's a shame that they put that peg on there. It would be real if you didn't, they stay in on this peg fairly easily because this snaps in. So if you wanted to shave that peg off, you could. So there's Jetpack Bumblebee with a jetpack on, or sub-dive armor, whatever you want to call it. And one of the things that's really neat, and we'll go back to vehicle mode to show you this, is that, like I said, it plugs into the same place in robot mode as in vehicle mode, and it's designed in such a way that if you have Bumblebee here with his jetpack on, you can, in fact, flip his head around, flaps his arms, come on. There we go. He likes to get caught up on those little arm pieces. Flip those around, snap them together, just like that, and then slide everything up together like that, and then you can just rotate him, still attached, just rotate him up and in, like that, and then this, you want to make sure these pieces slide. You don't want to just try to fold these up and then attach it. These pieces do actually slide back into the body, and then there's a couple little tabs here that just tab right into place, lock into place, and hold that cover onto the front of Bumblebee's vehicle mode. And you can do that in both directions. He's fully transformable in both directions while staying attached to the jetpack, which I think is really, really kind of cool and something you hadn't seen yet. The fact that it's not just a separate jetpack that clips onto Bumblebee. He is fully transformable from both modes without pulling him out of the jetpack at all. So that's really, really cool. Is it worth importing? I don't know. This is, in fact, like officially, I kind of did a slight farewell to animated with my Ironhide review, and this is it. I mean, unless we get something in Generations, there might still be a few repaints that get released if that ever happens. This guy might see release here in the United States, but of all the announced figures, this is it. This is the last new mold animated figure out there that I've got all of them. Like I said, there's a few repaints coming out of molds I already have, and they're the same character. But this is the last brand new animated mold that's going to be released unless we get anything in one of the Generations or Universe lines or whatever. But there you have it, animated Hydrodive / Jetpack Bumblebee.